MJF is leaving Las Vegas? ? What's going on, Adam?
This is pretty bonkers. Yesterday, the AEW Double or Nothing Fan Fest took place. There were a couple of people not there. We'll get to the other one. But the big one here is MJF. MJF no showing that fan convention with a report following from initially PW Insider and then some new details from Fightful Select. Communication apparently between AEW and MJF has hit an all-time low. And for want of a better expression, it looks like MJF might be taking his ball and leaving on a jet plane. Apparently, Wardlow has been contacted about this, but told to keep stum. He's been told not to say anything about it. But yeah, MJF no showing that fan convention, and he has booked himself a ticket out of Las Vegas ahead of his match against Wardlow tonight at AEW Double or Nothing. Let the speculation commence!
Now, to quote the songbird Rihanna, work, 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 work. Are we being sort of played a little bit here? Is this a last-minute bit to get this over the line in terms of storyline? We know this is something that played up at the end of last week. Tony Khan doing that AEW Double or Nothing media scrum where he kind of referenced that, it's great when real-life storylines come into wrestling and we watch them play out. MJF responding to that with a tweet now deleted saying F this place in regards to AEW. Whether that's furthering it, whether it's not, I guess we'll know very, very soon when Double or Nothing rolls around. If this is us just being played like fiddles, it's certainly got us talking, and I guess that's kind of the point. But also, if this is us being played like fiddles, then the kind of issue you have here, potentially, is with fan trust. If you've booked MJF to be at a meet and greet, and then pull him for storyline reasons, despite the fact that people may have bought tickets to meet and or greet MJF, that seems a little bit naughty.
I agree. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know how that purchase process works. I don't know if people buy tickets or tokens or something on the day, or if they pre-book a meeting with the talent. Either way, I can, card subject to change and all that. But I might be a little bit upset if I wanted to see MJF. He'd been advertised as being there and he wasn't. But I guess, and I'm not trying to justify this if it is a work. Does the press coverage that MJF walking out, does the press coverage that generates by doing something like this offset the few hundred fans that might be unhappy with not meeting him? And will they forgive him and the company when he pops out of the curtain tonight? They probably will. The people that really enjoy MJF's work are probably the people that appreciate a good work, because, I mean, his whole character is working us all the time, isn't it? He is the biggest heel. He lives the heel life thing. He's on 24/7 seemingly. And so I think if you're a big MJF fan, you might forgive them for that. But I'm not making excuses. Again, if you're going to do a work like this, following the Sasha Banks Naomi stuff, this is the time to do it. Everybody's talking about it. MJF, of course, his contract doesn't expire until 2024. There have been various reasons given for his supposed poor relationship with AEW and Tony Khan, but the big one is money. He wants more money, but he's not entitled to negotiate the terms of his contract until he comes to renew. He's not entitled to more money now, but he wants more money now. It just all plays so smoothly into his character, doesn't it? It's all just a little bit too perfect. I at the moment, as we sit here on a Sunday morning, I'm 90-10 in the favour of this being a work. But the fact that we're talking, and the fact that I'm thinking about it, the fact that people are now going to buy tickets but going to buy the pay-per-view on Fight or whatever to see if MJF turns up. That's good marketing.
It's going to be great to watch the reaction of Adam Pacitti and Andrew Hodgkinson on the live stream later today. Live reactions at youtube.com/cultaholic/live for what has become a very interesting night of wrestling for AEW at Double or Nothing. Another miss from that meet and greet yesterday. Samoa Joe. Slightly different issue with this one. Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez saying Samoa Joe was not at the Fan Fest. That's a different issue. It was described as he was double booked. I don't know what else he would have been booked for, but it's a communication issue where I guess he didn't know that he was supposed to be there. So that's what happened. Admittedly, that's happened to me. But it's not a case of being double booked. You just go, oh, was I down to do that today? Oh, okay.
This is one of the many times that you've no-showed a Cultaholic morning news video where you took your ball and went home.
There was a true story. I told this on the podcast a while ago where Ross and I went out for a drink. And as I took a sip of my drink, I had a text message from BBC Radio Newcastle saying, "Hi, Tom, what time are you getting here?" I'd have been booked for a show and completely forgotten about it. I was like, Ross, can you give me 2 hours, mate? I'll be right back.
Give me 2 hours. Give me 2 hours.
Very forgiving man.
It looks like a silly mistake. I don't know. Yeah, what would he have been double booked for? Like an interview or something like that? He would have been wrestling elsewhere, would he?
He might have been looking at some dogs. You don't know, do you?
There you go. There you go. We have a final update ahead of tonight's pay-per-view as well. Double or Nothing. Tony Khan said that he's going to structure its pay-per-view around the potential at the time Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics game, Game 7. That 7th game will now take place. The game starts at 8:30 Eastern. Double or Nothing kicks off the main portion of the card at 8 p.m. Eastern, with the buy-in, of course, taking place starting an hour earlier. So we now know that's happening. Expect the pay-per-view to go a little longer, perhaps, first of all, than previous reports. There were previous reports that this was going to be a 4-hour show, not including the pre-show. And I would suggest that because Tony was structuring it around that potential sports game, which is now happening. Sports game, I'm such a square.
Sports game. Here we go. Game. Sports time.
Essentially, I imagine that the lesser matches, the smaller matches on the card will almost likely, almost definitely be, longer. They'll go on a bit more. If I were him, I'd be putting the MJF thing right toward the end of the card. If it happens, which it's going to happen. I would even open, right? Just to bring it back to our initial story, I would even open saying MJF has taken his ball and gone home, and then still have him come out. Just further the drama, because there's something that you can do after the Wardlow stuff is finished, which is finishing probably tonight, isn't it? Is the end of the storyline here. You've got something new to talk about with MJF, as if you need it. Just spitballing.
Yeah. I can see them, whatever they have planned, like you say, I can see them pushing that right to as far deep into the card as they can. And it's going to be a long one tonight. AEW pay-per-views typically are long. And as we speculated the other day about this basketball game, and now we've had confirmation that this is going to be a scheduling thing that is happening, I would expect this to be probably the longest pay-per-view AEW's ever done. So I hope you get yourself a lovely night's sleep in today, Adam, because
sure. I'm going to be napping throughout the day. With this pay-per-view length thing, I've really enjoyed WWE's sometimes less than 3-hour offerings recently.
Sublime.
But AEW only run 4 big shows a year, right? 4, yeah. And so they should be longer. But sometimes I see a lot of people going like, oh man, I fell asleep before the main event and all this stuff. They're a bit long for me. It's a balance between thinking you're getting your money's worth and thinking this is probably a bit too much.
We will see how it all pans out.
I'm looking forward to it. Tom.
You're gonna have a lovely time. Andrew and Adam do live reactions tonight for the entirety of Double or Nothing and all the twists and turns that takes. You'll have what happened afterwards with Jack as well, and news throughout the day via cultaholic.com. But our lead story once again this Sunday morning: MJF, according to reports, after not showing a fan meet and greet, has left Las Vegas ahead of Double or Nothing. More throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.